Why do we see most yoga gurus getting into sex scandals and going for these deep surgeries in operation theaters or taking pills, getting heart attack and stuff? Let's dig into it for a minute, okay? And chill. If you have any special affinity with the person and their style of things, which is fine, but let's take a scientific look. Only then we can understand this deeply. Now, eastern side of the world is pretty oppressed when it comes to freedom between men and women, masculine and feminine energies. They don't allow them to be free. It was the same case in the Western countries as well a few years ago, but now they're so much better when it comes to this particular behavior. Here, we have a guilt-ridden sense towards each other. If a man goes over to a woman to talk, she has a wrong feeling already, like, why is he talking to me? What does he want? And women here think just obviously he wants that and that's why he's coming. This is the situation in most of the Eastern countries, not only in India. But unless that goes away, this institution of marriage is such a concept, man. Oh, a lot of my friends say, you're so lucky that you didn't get married. I don't know why they say that. That's how they feel. First, you have oppression. Second, instead of studying the science of talking to different people, especially the opposite sex, you are studying the science of brahmacharya, going away from each other, which is fine. I mean, studying, having an affinity to certain science and studying something is great, no worries. But you're doing the exact opposite thing than what it's required for your life to be complete and peaceful. Any form of fitness art, whether it's kung fu or yoga or running, it increases your energy. When it works mostly on Mooladhara, because that's where everything starts, right? That's the starting point. If used wisely, it takes you to greater heights. If not, it weakens you. This is why you see this kind of population in our countries, this in China. Not that we understand the art of lovemaking. We are just blind and oppressed and desperate. And which is why we don't know how to do it and we keep producing babies, Shiva gave Tantra. If we cannot understand Tantra, we cannot understand Mooladhara. If you don't understand Mooladhara, you cannot understand yoga, period. And you are playing with such a great energy like Kundalini. Instead of studying it, we're just playing around. And these gurus, whoever got into sex scandals, including the one in Mysore, why did they get into it? When his students made a video and put it out, I was really surprised. It's still available on YouTube. Like, he's almost dry humping them. I'm like, why? At least in Western countries, they have a system to take it out. You can go to such places and do what you need to do. Or their society is much open. You can express your needs, It's not like the Indian society. Now it's much better, but then back in the days, it was horrible. People would actually get into a fight and hit the man who's going over to talk to a woman. This was the scene, really. And when these gurus, I shouldn't be calling them gurus actually, when these yoga teachers come out of that sort of a culture and suddenly have the access to see so many women almost half naked, what do you expect? Having an appreciation to our needs, having an open environment, exchanging. If this is not practiced in these cultures, it's never going to be solved. These things that we hear about rape or treating women badly, it comes out of that desperation, nothing else. We have to get over it. And there are ways. Like I said again, Tantra is not about doing it. Most people think like that. And unfortunate that we Indians think like that. It's not about it. In the flow of this topic, I would also want to give you a quick explanation about these so-called sex temples. I'm deeply saddened by that term. It's not a sex temple, my friends. The naked forms of humans and them indulging is carved around the temples for a reason. For example, when you visit these temples of Khajuraho, around the temple all these erotic sculptures are carved. When you go inside the temple, it's empty. It depicts a human craving, desire, and life. Outside the temple is all these desires and craving like we have, we want too much food, we want to live in a fantastic house, we want to go, we want to have this much money, those many partners, blah, blah, blah. We have many desires, right? The temple is a depiction of human. Inside when you go, which is meditation, there's emptiness, which we don't know of. We have heard of that concept, of course. We kind of understand the meaning of it. But to experience emptiness, it takes many days of silence, appreciation of silence, an affinity to solitude. That's the depiction of the temple. It's very sad that our own people don't understand this. This is the most beautiful work you can ever see. And why erotic sculpture, you may ask? It is because that is the most desirable act of a human being, most pleasurable. What else is there? The reason why it needed to be controlled and regulated is because if you gave a human being, a man or a woman, all that they desired, like as much food as they wanted and as much indulgence in terms of intimacy, they become very unproductive. They become lazy and they become too much demanding. For this reason, in order for them to move and live a life, a fuller life of many other aspects, it needed to be controlled and regulated. There's much we can talk about, but not in this video. Let's just understand that the reason why we hear about yoga people, see other people getting into sex scandals is understandable, okay? But yoga is such a pure art. And yoga teachers getting into this kind of nonsense, so disgraceful and brings us down in the world. The other part, I met a couple of these yoga teachers going into deep surgeries, intestine related or cancer related. I'm like, teachers, if students go, you understand, because they still are trying to figure out what yoga is and all that. If yoga only deals with your physical, fitness, then any other fitness is just fine, You can go do karate. You can go to the gym. It's fine. Yoga is just not fitness, my friends. Yoga is much more. But if you cannot handle even basic fitness and go into deep surgeries, a heart attack comes and visits you. Now, the person we heard about who died of heart attack, was he rich? Yes, he was a millionaire. Could he get access to superfoods? All the great foods. If some students came to him asking for a great lifestyle where they won't fall sick and they won't die very unnaturally like this. I understand if someone dies in a natural calamity, like I was caught up in an earthquake, a deadly earthquake, and God's grace, I got a second life. 10,000 people died there in Nepal. Or if an accident happens, or you drown, something very natural happens and you die, it's understandable. But something that is in human control and not a normal regular man who ate and slept and lived his life, not someone older than this guy, and you die of heart attack, being a yoga guru and calling yourself the guru of gurus. That is, oh my God, this is incredible. To name yourself as the guru of gurus, like you're the final guru out there, whatever that is. And people paid for his teachings for what? For the pictures of him pulling up asanas when he was young? Around 20 something? And then that's it. You gave up and you slept, ate, and became lazy, developed a paunch, had a bald head, and shaky on all the asanas, and you wrote a book like Ageless Body. You see where it goes. It just brings us down in the international arena, really. Like these Indians are just yappers, really. Now Google is better, but a few years before, if you Googled yoga, it always showed pictures of somebody doing yoga who are non-Indians. And I always wondered, why? There's so much yoga happening. Why doesn't it pull out some pictures here? Because we could not. We did yoga, but we couldn't pull out these complete asanas, in a correct way. Because we're not dedicated enough to go into that art and live that with exact passion that the other people do. We just talk about it, and we just see easier ways and lazy ways to pull it out and make some money out of that. This is what I hated in my research. And that's why I needed to bring this out. And this is what is coming out in my book, one by one, detail by detail. And the other thing, if your body bends like rubber and you don't have that proper structure as a benchmark, as depicted in the pictures of Shiva, Parvati, Krishna, Radha, look at their bodies. That is the benchmark. If that doesn't happen, if someone's body looks very feeble, frail structure and bends like something, do you call this a complete outcome of a body? It's just a rubber, Neither a rubber nor a stick. It's a fine balance of both. That's how body is made. It is flexible and hard also. And I see bodies, where their muscles are overly stretched. You can see how ugly it looks, It's beating oneself. Why? In any asanas that's depicted properly, the tone muscles, the overstretched, the dried out chest, and these manly shoulders, the unnatural things, one by one. This is not the outcome of yoga, my friends. It's got to be natural. See, I cannot say I'll pull up 100% of the asanas. I cannot. And I accept it. And I'm not forcing it. You don't have to force. And people paid for that guy's service, not only that person's service, there are many, many teachers like that around India, even in Mysore, so many. These people who are so fat and with this big belly, they're yoga teachers. And they're so confident about it. And people come and pay them and learn from them. I'm like, wow, this is a miracle. I would go and pay him for his confidence, not for his body or yoga. But anyway, and the person who pulled up those asanas with a frail structure, not a Krishnamachari type of a structure with, you can take a look at the picture and you can feel it. And he doesn't know how to handle his own body at the age of 30, 40, 50. Is this what it is? When you're young, you can do so many things, of course. And that doesn't define the rest of your life, does it? You've got to be able to live it until the last breath, which BKS Iyengar did. I'm not his student. But what a man. Read his books. Go through his philosophy. He lived gracefully. And that body showed the world. It put another feather in yoga. Thank God there are such people existing there. Otherwise, we would be walking with our heads down in the other countries when we visit. It's such a shame, really. So, when you are a yoga teacher, when you have enough money, there are foods like spinach. There are so many seeds, right from pumpkin seeds to chia seeds. So many things, walnuts, berries. They're all expensive foods for us. But could he get his hands on them? He could, but he wouldn't eat. Why? Because you've already reached. You're the greatest of the great, like you call yourself. And you don't have to take care of that, It automatically happens because, you're a special human, somehow. But if someone went to him, or these type of gurus asking, what is the correct lifestyle, what should I eat? And then they'll give sermons about, eat powerful foods, eat millets, eat super greens. Do you eat? No. See, I have interviewed so many yoga teachers, all the famous ones you can think of, almost. And none of them, almost 80% of them are not my friends. They don't stay in touch with me. Except two names from Mysore. One is Vijay Kumar and Bharat Shetty. They stay in touch, as in they talk when I talk to them. Rest of them, they hate me because I've asked such questions looking into their eyes. They talk about, when I ask them if someone comes to you for advice of diet or, you know, the paunch that they have, the bald head that they have. It's not a problem to have them. My mom was fat and I loved her, no problem. One of my brothers has a frail, thin, lean structure and, he's underweight. Not that I don't love him for that. It doesn't matter to me. But he does not claim to be a teacher. He does not go around preaching people about it. You see what I mean? If you say you are a swimming expert and a teacher, you better be able to get in there and do something. And you don't take care of that lifestyle. You eat all this nonsensical junk food that we Indians are so used to. Our food system starts from this. Taste buds. It doesn't start from here or here. It starts from here. That's our problem. And so, I'm not just complaining. There are great yogis also. There are great yoga people also in some parts of India I've met, and they're brilliant. One is Sunil Kumar Chauhan, I think his name is. He's amazing. And there are a couple of Arjun Bista. There's another guy I'm not able to think of. He's from Haridwar. You can always see him pulling up some poses across the river. I'm not getting his name. And such, no, I have seen such people, and thank God such people exist, really speaking. But this wrath, this stupid practice, and then this too much of commercialization that's happening, I needed to talk about it. And that's why this video. I don't know if you enjoyed this video. It doesn't matter to me. But if you are a seeker of truth, my friends, support it. Bring the word out. Okay, let's get a fine balance of yoga. Let's get this authenticity back in the world. And let's save our dignity, please. Namaste.